Good morning, all of you. Today I'll first make you people underline the merits and demerits of capitalistic economic system, socialistic economic system, and mixed economic system. Okay. So one thing I want to tell you, that whatever is the merits of capitalistic economic system will become the demerits of socialistic economic system. Whatever is the merit of socialistic economic system will become the demerit of capitalistic economic system. Okay. So first underline in the book, okay, along with me, the merits and demerits of capitalistic and socialistic economic system, all of you. Okay. Now I'll turn the camera and I'll just make you people underline the merits and demerits. Is it clear? Now see all of you in the book. We are going to start with the merits of capitalism. The first merit is spirit of enterprise. Spirit of enterprise. Okay. Now under this, how spirit of enterprise? You have to underline. Okay. What encourages? Now, force of profit motive has infused the spirit of enterprise and risk taking in the individual. The desire to earn profit has encouraged new entrepreneurial abilities. Till here. Is it clear? Second point. Second merit. Incentive for technological progress. In place of incentive, you can also write encouragement. What you can write? In place of incentive, encouragement. Encouragement. In place of incentive, you can write encouragement for technological progress. Producers have been motivated to develop new technique of production so as to survive in the face of competition and to earn profit. Okay, then till here. Next point, efficient use of resources is the other merit. In capitalist economy, efficient individuals are rewarded and inefficient ones are penalized. Producers under constant pressure to maximize efficiency of resources and to keep the cost to minimum in order to earn higher profit. Similarly, the workers work efficiently in order to earn higher income. The full point. Then next merit is incentive for capital formation. In capitalist economy, the desire to earn profit provide motive for higher investment. Okay, motive for higher investment. Then higher level of saving and investment leads to higher income and higher rate of economic growth. This much. Then come to the next merit, that is the fifth one. The capitalist economy has brought in a flood of new products. The desire to earn profit has motivated the producer to produce new and variety of product. Till here. Okay. Then flexibility and adaptability, that you cancel it. That this merit is not there, so you cancel this. Okay. Then come to automatic working. Automatic working. Under this, you people have to underline, under automatic working, there is no planning body and central agency to take necessary economic decision, yet the capitalist economy operates in a smooth and orderly way. It is the impersonal forces of price mechanism which enable the capitalist economy to take all important decisions. Okay, is it clear? So, automatic functioning of price mechanism in capitalist economy helps the producer in solving the basic problem of what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Is it clear? Next, economic freedom. Okay, then from here, the restrictions by the government has capped to minimum. There is freedom to consumers and producers and freedom to save and invest. Only this much. Okay. Number 9 is not there, so that you cancel. Okay. Number 10, that you cancel. Is it clear? So these are the merits. Now come to the demerits of capitalist economic system. Come to the demerits of capitalist economic system. Demerits. Now, inequalities obviously of income and wealth. The major shortcoming of capitalist economy is that it has led to large disparity in the distribution of income and wealth. Is it clear? Till here. Till here only. Only this much you people have to write. Then next, class struggle. There is a class struggle. Class struggle is a direct consequence of inequality in the capitalist economic system. Capitalist society has divided into two groups, namely the capitalist and the worker, the haves and the have-nots, the rich and the poor. There is constant hostility, struggle and amnesty between the two groups in front of strikes, lockouts, etc. This is the second demerit. Come to the third demerit, that is economic instability. Okay, now an important shortcoming of capitalist economic system is that it can lead to economic instability. Such instability arises because there is no coordinating agency. Okay, there is always the possibility of overproduction, underproduction, boom and depression, inflation and unemployment. Then misallocation of resources. Okay, then here productive resources are used for the production of luxuries and comfort rather than necessities, because producers earn more profit from the production of luxuries. This is the meaning. In capitalist economy, rich people have more purchasing power, therefore this much. Is it clear? Then next demerit number 5, wastage of capitalist production. How wastage of capitalist production? These are the example. 4 points are given. Some of the technique of production are discarded because of the discovery of new and better type of technique. First, second, third, fourth. All you people have to write. Okay. Then emergence of monopoly, you cancel it. Come to neglect social welfare. In capitalist economy, production is undertaken to maximize private profit. Whole point. Okay, therefore the goal of maximization of social welfare is what? Neglected. All right, then come to the this economic values. This also is not there under demerit. Okay, now so I have given you the merits and demerits of capitalistic economic system. Now let me make you underline the merits and demerits of socialistic economic system. Now see the merits of socialistic economic system, all of you. The first one, better allocation of resources. A socialist economic system leads to better and efficient allocation of resources. How? There are some reasons. First, production is done with the objective of maximization of social welfare. Second, in socialist economy, allocation of resources made by planning authority to promote social welfare. Luxuries are not produced at the cost of basic necessities of life. Third, a socialist economy is able to eliminate various types of wastage of resources. That is the first merit of socialist economic system. Second merit, fuller utilization. A socialist economy ensures that available resources are fully utilized. The planning authority would not like the resources to go unutilized, keeping in mind the welfare of the society. Till here. Then elimination of economic instability. A socialist economy is able to avert economic instability. All economic decisions are taken by the central planning authority. Till here. All right. Therefore, there is no possibility of overproduction and underproduction, booms and depression. Okay, from here till here. Is it clear? Just see this point properly. Then equitable distribution of income. Yes, socialism aims at the establishment of an egalitarian society. It provides equal opportunities. It provides equal opportunities to all, irrespective of caste, color and creed. Till here. Okay, then no class struggle, elimination of class struggle. Okay, so a socialist society is a classless society, therefore there is no scope of class struggle in such society. There is no possibility of employer-employee conflict in socialist society. Till here. Then provision of social security. Yes, social security means what? In socialist society, the state undertake various social security measures. After measures, you will underline this. Measures. State provide the basic facilities of housing, education, health, old age pension to its people. Okay, next point. That is number 7. Increase in productive efficiency. A great virtue of socialist economic system is that it encourages higher productive. This is for a variety of reasons. There are equal opportunity for all are provided jobs, all are provided social security, there is no exploitation. All right, till here. Okay, then rapid economic growth, this you cancel, this is unnecessary merit. Okay, and number 9 also you cancel. All right, now come to the demerits of socialistic economic system. First demerits, you leave the first demerit, so cancel the first demerit. See the second demerit, loss of efficiency. A socialist economic system may not lead to attainment of maximum efficiency for many reasons. First, there is lack of appropriate incentive system to work hard and improve their efficiency. Similarly, there is no incentive to innovate new methods. Secondly, industries and other economic activities are managed by the bureaucrats. These full point it is. I'm going to explain you, just see to it. Then second point, loss of incentives. There is an absence of appropriate incentive in socialist economy. Workers are government servants. Their jobs are protected whether they work efficiently or inefficiently. They may not have incentive to work hard. And ability of private property, full point. Then loss of consumer sovereignty, means consumers are not free to take. The consumer is no longer the king as he is usually in capitalist economy. Production is no longer guided by the preference of the consumer. Okay, consumers, then last line, consumers get only those goods which the central planning authority decides to produce. Then loss of freedom, this one, there is no private enterprise in socialist economy. The freedom of occupation is absent. Consumers do not enjoy choice in the real sense. Okay, then there is no freedom of speech and expression in socialist country. People are not able to express their grievances freely. A socialist economy often leads to a regimented economy. Then next point, concentration of economic and political power, right? More power is on the government. The government has absolute authority in the country. The productive resources are owned by government. Economic activities are controlled and decided by the government. This increases the power over individual. The government does not have a foolproof mechanism to know the wishes of the people. Therefore, there is every possibility that handful of politicians and bureaucrats may start enjoying absolute power. Till here. And the last demerit, the planning mechanism may not work efficiently because of various loopholes in it. Inadequate information regarding economic resources and preferences to consumer, inadequate statistical data regarding production of various goods and services may stand in the way of efficient functioning of the planning process. Is it clear? So these are the merits and demerits of socialistic economic system. Now come to the merits and demerits of mixed economic system. Okay, now see the merits of mixed economic system. Let us start with the merits of mixed economic system. First merit of mixed economic system is this: proper allocation of economic planning ensures that economic resources of the economy are utilized in the best possible way. Okay, till here. Then economic stability. A mixed economic system ensures economic stability. It tries to avoid ups and downs in the economy through planning. Till here. Then advantage of market system. Okay, under this, a mixed economic system has all the advantage of the market economy. It retains most of the institution of the capitalist economic system, such as private property, inheritance, competition, profit motive, freedom of enterprise, etc. Till here. Then rapid economic development. From the point of view of developing economies, the mixed economic system is efficient since it ensures rapid economic development. Till here. Then for fifth merit, check on the concentration of economic power. A mixed economic system is able to keep a check on concentration of economic power. Monopolistic control of industries and their exploitative incentives are curbed. Only till here. The last demerit, A mixed economic system ensures adequate economic freedom. Consumers are free to choose goods and services they want to consume. People are free to choose occupation they like. Till here. So these are the merits. Now come to the demerits of mixed economic system. Conflict between two sectors. You know there are private and public sector. So a serious shortcoming of the mixed economic system is that there is a coalition, bitterness and non-cooperation may take place between the private and public sector. Okay, then short-lived. A mixed economic system runs the risk of being short-lived. Then it may not continue for a long time. In course of time, each of the two sectors may attempt to expand at the cost of the other. Is it clear? If the public sector expand it to such an extent that it is able to take over private sector, okay, a mixed economic may become socialist. On the other hand, if the private sector proves dominating, the mixed economy may convert into capitalist economy. Next, inefficient operation. There is a danger of mixed economy operating in an efficient way. The private sector may not able to function effectively due to expressive control and regulations of the government. The full point. Poor performance of public sector. Yes, the public sector suffers from insania, efficiency and red tapeism. The experience of the Indian economy bears testimony of this fact. And the last demerit, a mixed economy is likely to give rise to a system of excessive control and regulation. The government may like to regulate the private sector by imposing excessive control like licensing system, monetary and fiscal regulations. Still here. Okay. Now, children, see, I have made you people underline the merits and demerits of all the three systems. Okay. Then the next video which I have uploaded, in that I'm going to explain you these merits and demerits. So today I'll complete your syllabus of first term examination. Okay. Thank you, children, for this, and one more video I'm going to upload that you see. Okay. Thank you, children.